This is a story about a wedding. A wedding so glamorous, it destroyed a marriage. Her name is Cynthia, and this is how one day of perfection cost her a lifetime of regret. Cynthia was born in a humble neighborhood in Tema, Ghana. Her parents were devout Christians. Every Sunday, church. Every evening, devotion. They raised her with values, contentment, humility, gratitude. Live within your means, her mother would say. True wealth is peace of mind. Cynthia grew up surrounded by these principles. She wasn't rich, but she was loved. By the time she finished secondary school, these values were part of who she was, or so everyone thought.
In 2015, Cynthia completed her teacher training and was posted to a primary school near Axim. That is where she met Nicholas. Nicholas was a mathematics teacher, 1 year older. He wasn't flashy, he didn't dress in expensive clothes, he drove an old Honda Civic his uncle gave him, but he was kind, respectful, and hard-working. Living in Axim, they saw the abundance around them. Coconut trees were everywhere along the coast. Nicholas was observant. While everyone else saw bush, he saw a gold mine. He would say, "Cynthia, look at all these coconuts. People in Accra are thirsty, and we are sitting on the water source." But he was patient, building slowly. In 2019, Nicholas proposed, just the two of them at Axim Beach. Cynthia said yes. They planned a modest wedding. Budget, 15,000 cedis. Nicholas said, "We will save the rest. I have a business plan for these coconuts. We will build a life together." Cynthia agreed. She was happy. Then came the invitation. 3 months before her wedding, Cynthia traveled to Accra for her friend Kwabena's wedding. It was at a luxury hotel ballroom. When Cynthia arrived, she couldn't believe her eyes. Crystal chandeliers, gold-plated chairs, a red carpet entrance. The cake was 5 tiers, decorated with edible gold. There were fireworks, a live band, politicians. Cynthia stood there, watching it all. The applause, the cameras, the admiration, and something inside her shifted. This, she thought, this is what a real wedding looks like. At the reception, she sat next to Kwabena. He was well-dressed, he worked in oil and gas, and he drove a Range Rover. When Cynthia returned to Axim, she couldn't sleep. She compared Kwabena's wedding to her own simple plan, and she whispered to herself, "No, I can't do small, not after seeing that." The next morning, she called Nicholas. "We need to talk. The wedding is too small, too ordinary. I want something bigger in Accra." Nicholas hesitated. "Cynthia, let's be wise. We are teachers. A wedding is 1 day. Our life together is forever." Cynthia shot back. "Other people afford it. Why can't we?" She wasn't convinced. For 2 weeks, she texted Kwabena, the man with the Range Rover. Kwabena told her, "You deserve a man who can give you the best, not someone stuck in a village talking about coconuts." 1 month later, she left Nicholas. Nicholas didn't fight it. He just said, "I hope you find what you are looking for." Within 6 months, Cynthia married Kwabena. It was the wedding of her dreams. Luxury hotel, fireworks, everyone said, best wedding of the year. But the next morning, reality arrived with the bills. The wedding cost 120,000 cedis. They took bank loans to pay for it. After monthly repayments, they had barely enough to survive. They started fighting about money, about priorities. They couldn't save, they couldn't breathe. Meanwhile, back in Axim, Nicholas was healing. The breakup gave him focus. He looked at the coconut trees again. These sell here for 50 pesewas, he realized. In Accra, they are 2 cedis. He started small. Every Saturday at dawn, he drove his old Honda Civic, packed with coconuts, to Accra. He made a small profit, but it was consistent. He did this for a year. Then he met Grace. Grace was also a teacher, quiet, supportive. She saw his vision and offered to help.
2 years later, Nicholas and Grace married. A simple ceremony. Budget? 8,000 Cedis. They took the money they saved and invested it into the business. They bought machines. They started bottling coconut water. They branded it Coast Fresh. By year 3, Nicholas quit teaching to become the CEO. They hired 10 staff. They exported to Togo and Nigeria. Nicholas, the ordinary teacher Cynthia left for being stuck in a village, was now running a thriving company.
One Thursday morning in 2024, Nicholas walked into a bank in Accra to deposit the week's earnings, 50,000 Cedis. As he stood in line, he heard a desperate voice. "Please, we just need a loan consolidation." He turned. It was Cynthia and Kwabena. They were begging the loan officer for more time to pay off the wedding debts from 5 years ago. Nicholas froze. Cynthia looked up. Their eyes met. Her face went pale. She saw him, well-dressed, confident, holding a deposit slip for his company. Nicholas didn't gloat. He didn't laugh. He simply gave a small, respectful nod, the nod of a man who has nothing to prove. The teller called out, "Mr. Mensah, the business banking officer is ready for you." He walked away. Cynthia sat there watching him leave. Tears filled her eyes. She remembered his vision. She had called it poverty. He had called it opportunity. She traded a builder for a wedding reception.
Today, Nicholas employs 40 people. Cynthia is still paying for a party that ended 5 years ago. Here is the lesson. A wedding is one day. A marriage is a lifetime. Glamour fades, but debt is real. Live within your means. Don't compete with anyone's highlight reel. Nicholas didn't have a Range Rover in Axim, but he had vision, and vision beats vanity every single time. Don't trade your future for one day of applause. I am Obed Ampong. If this story touched you, share it with someone who needs to hear it.